Alright guys, as you can see, I'm sweating balls out here, but I finally got the truck running right, I think, and this is going to be the official first start. After this test drive, I'll start making videos of what happened and how I ended up figuring it out, so stay tuned for this first test drive. Man, so far it's running really good, man. I'll be driving it around here, around the neighborhood first, and then I'll take it out to the street. Oh shit. I think I need to tighten up the steering rack. That turn was a little sketchy. And the transmission is still in great condition. I've got the windows down because the AC went out. I'm not sure if the air compressor went out or it just ran out of Freon. It was sitting for a long time. Damn, gas is pretty expensive here, but it's the shortest distance. Alright guys, so as you can see, the SUV's up and running again and on all 6 cylinders. I'm going to show y'all what I started figuring out first. It all started with those cam caps. If you watch some of my videos, I think it's series 6, 7 maybe, either or, I talked about these cam caps right here and how the engine locked up when I tightened them to spec, so I ended up loosening them up a bit. These cam caps were actually from the previous damaged cylinder head, so the wear pattern was completely different. These cams right here that you see are from the damaged cylinder head, so these are paired up with these. I ended up using cams from the other cylinder head from the junkyard, and I paired them with these, so that's why the engine was locking up, and I was able to free it up by just loosening it up, but that wasn't working well. Luckily, I still had the cam caps from the other cylinder head, and I still torqued it down to spec, and the engine was still locked up. So what I ended up noticing was that on these cam caps, they're numbered. As you could see right there, let's see if the camera focuses. So there's a 1I, a 2I, 3I, 4I, and I believe that's a 5i, and these go like that: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I had to break from this cylinder head, and as well as the exhaust side. So you can see a 4E here, 5E, 6E. So when I noticed that, I looked at all the cam caps that I had installed and they were all mixed up. I got the cam caps from the other cylinder head and the other cams. I put them all in order, torqued them down to spec, and the engine was able to rotate freely. So after I did that, I was confident that that part of the reassembly was correct. Afterwards, the engine kept dying on me, and it got worse from the first start. I had no power. I pressed gas and it would just kind of rev up and misfire a lot. I kept getting a PO 300 code and I just couldn't figure it out until finally I spoke with my niece's fiance, and he recommended going back to the OEM fuel injectors, which luckily I hadn't thrown away. I bought a little kit to clean them up. This is the little kit that I bought clean up the fuel injectors. There's plenty of videos online on how to use them. And here it is. So this hooks up to your battery. It's got little connections here to hook up to the actual injectors, and then you just pulse the injector for it to spray out. I cleaned the original OEM spark plugs and fixed the issue right up. It was idling perfectly, and I'm pretty sure I figured it out. The cheap eBay injectors were the issue. I'll show them to you right here. So they look nice, they feel nice, but when I started cleaning them and using them with this, it was dripping all over the place. The spray pattern wasn't strong compared to the OEM, and that's what fixed the issue and got the engine running on all 6 cylinders. And the thing was too that we bought this vehicle used, and what I noticed right off the lot, the check engine light came on. There was a misfire on cylinder 4, so I replaced the spark plug there. The spark plug was super dirty, and then I got another code for, after I replaced that spark plug, I got another code for cylinder 5, and I noticed the engine was burning oil too. It wouldn't smoke out the exhaust, but it was losing oil, so I had to top it off every now and then. And I guess I forgot at one point, and it broke down, probably due to having no oil and no oil pressure. And I'm guessing the valves might have tapped and bent the valves, and that's why it broke down. Compression was lost. We took it to a shop that I don't want to name, and the guys there were troubleshooting it, and one of the buddies without uniform shows up and just starts revving it, redlining it until the engine blew. And then they had the audacity to say the engine was blown. So at that time I didn't know anything about engines. I don't know what they had just done. So I towed it back home and decided to start tearing it apart. As I was tearing it apart, that's when I realized how bad the damage was and what they did. If I would know now, back then, I would have raised hell. But since I was ignorant and didn't know anything, I didn't realize how bad it was. But anyways, that's how this whole journey started. For a little bit of context, what really caused the damage was those techs, or that one tech, I'm sorry. I don't even know if he was a tech. He didn't have a uniform. I just got in there like nobody's business and just revved the hell out of it. Pretty much grenaded the engine. Luckily the damage wasn't too major. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't like I had to replace the crankshaft or anything like that, or the block. The block was still fine. So I got lucky there. Then another thing I did was put back the original OEM intake manifold. For some reason, the one I bought didn't have that PCV hose back there, that one where my finger's pointing at. And I think it had the PCV system molded in there, but I ended up just going back to the original OEM intake, and it ran even smoother. So that was my two main issues: the cheap eBay fuel injectors and placing the cams in the correct order, because the wear pattern is going to be different for each little slot, and you want to place it back to its original spot. So this has been a huge learning experience, man. It was fun rebuilding this engine, and who knows, maybe I'll start tackling other projects and find a new hobby, you know. I'm sorry I haven't been making any fishing videos, because this has really been taking all my time. It almost took about 8 months. Since I have a full job, I could only put a few hours here and there without getting too stressed. But other than that, if you watched all the videos in this series, I really appreciate y'all. And I might make some more videos of just cruising around. I need to get an alignment for it, and then eventually I'm going to swap out the engine oil at 1,000 miles and put some really good quality engine oil, because right now I have that Walmart Super Tech on there, which is working perfectly fine. I mean, I can't say anything bad about it because the engine is running super smooth. So if y'all have been watching all the videos, I really appreciate y'all, and stay tuned for the next one.